Hello and welcome to all of the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Welcome. This is going to be your mid to late February reading. A couple of different things. First of all, I am dealing with a new camera as well as a new microphone. So there are still a couple of glitches that have not been worked out yet. My camera likes to autofocus every time I move around. So if you do see or experience, the focusing and unfocusing and back and forth, I do apologize. I will try and get that rectified for the March recordings. Also, new microphone. So you may be picking up some of the background noises. I do have a young child that lives next door to me, and he's having a rough day, and he's been outside recently. So you may pick up some of those noises. I apologize. It is part of life and experiencing life living in closer quarters in Mexico. All right, without any further ado, let's get on with this. So one of the first things I need to do is my disclaimers. I am not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a certified financial advisor. So anything that you see or hear in this video that you feel is directed specifically at you, that is medical, financial, or legal advice, it's not. Okay, I'm not qualified to give you that advice. You have free will. So please exercise your free will and make decisions that are specific to you in your life, as these are general readings. There are a lot of you guys out there. There is a lot of Scorpios, Pisces, Cancer. There's so many of you guys out there. And so this is a general reading. It will resonate with some of you and not others. What am I forgetting to say? Oh, we are kind of at the middle of February. So happy belated birthday to any Aquarians that may decide to jump in and watch this portion of the video. And happy early birthday to the Pisceans in the group. Also, middle of February. Apparently there's a cherub flying around right now, likes to send arrows, love, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of the monthly readings, the mid-month readings, turn into love readings for some of you. Not sure what the cards are going to bring up for us, but happy Valentine's to those who recognize it. And let's get started. So we're going to start with the Cancers. Oh, one more thing right before I start. I leave all of the cards face down until I am actually ready to read the cards. The reason that I do this is because as intuitive information comes up to me, as psychic hits come up to me while I am doing your reading, I express those, and then the reading becomes more clear to a lot of people if I then turn over cards that confirm the psychic or intuitive information that comes up. So just that final little point, and let's get started with the Cancers. Cancer, just a moment, I'm going to tap into your energy. This will be a 6-card reading. Well, I always say 6 cards, but the cards, sometimes we get more than that. So Cancers, where are you right now with your energy? Mid-February. So right in and around Valentine's Day, Cancer, where are you now? Oh, and we have our card. It has popped out. Oh, guess you're getting more than 6 cards because we've got 2 of them here. All right. Let's move into what you are focusing on, Cancer. What are you focusing on for the last half of February 2023? Mischievous little fairies here. They've decided they want to come out and be the deck of your focus, Cancer. Okay. I don't know if you can see there, but we've got one card that's decided it doesn't want to go back into the deck properly. Take that as your focus. All right. Let's have a look at your difficult influences. Difficult influences for Cancer, last half of February 2023. All right, where are we? There we go. Okay, let's have a look at what makes sense for you at this time. I am being called over to this deck I wasn't planning on using, but you know, the cards speak. Hoping that my microphone is in the right spot here. Don't know if that improved things or not. All right, what makes sense for Cancer for the last half of February 2023? There we go. See how that card's popping up? Let's take that as your card. Okay. Let's have a look at unexpected insights. All right. Oh, see, new technology wants to autofocus. All right. All right, we're going to put that back in because I wasn't concentrating on the right thing. All right, let's go again. Unexpected, whoa, influences. All right. We've got actually two cards that have come out for your unexpected influences, Cancer. Let's have a look at your general overall outcome. Where are we going? I'm getting called in two different directions. I think we're getting called over here to the fairy cards for you. Again, general overall outcome for Cancer, last half of February. Try this again. Okay, maybe it wasn't the fairy deck. Come on, fairies. You said you wanted to talk. Cancer. One more time through the deck. There we go. There's one. Is there anything else? Yep, we got two. Anything else for Cancer as an outcome? Okay. I apologize. All right, the first card fell on the floor, so we will put it down. Yes, sir, let's get started. Where are you now? Okay, Cancer, you have two cards. You have the Taking Shelter card as well as the Mystic Healer card. The Taking Shelter card in the You Now position is telling me that right now, in the middle of February, you are in a place where you're feeling somewhat withdrawn, you're going within, and you are learning new things about yourself as well as the world. You are recognizing that the only real true answers in life are the true answers that come from within yourself. That's what this card represents. Okay, this is where you're at now. Now, the interesting thing is that you also got the Mystic Healer. And this is an indication that part of your withdrawal and part of the reason why you are currently taking shelter is because you are developing your internal healer, you're developing your mystic healer, and you're developing more of your ability and capacity to go within. You know, the real true answers that we have in life come from within ourselves. And we know that. I think we know that at a deep inherent level, but sometimes in our modern society, as things get all caught up and a little bit crazy for us, we forget about that. And so, yeah, this is where you're at right now. I'm just going to shuffle a couple of things around here on them. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's move into what you're currently focusing on, Cancer. What are you focusing on here in the middle to the end of February. You have the Prince of Autumn, which is also the Prince of Pentacles. If we refer back to the traditional tarot. Be cautious, but wise in your actions, meticulous attention to detail, and be kind to others. Okay. What this card is telling me is that part of the reason that you are taking shelter at this time and tapping into your mystic healer or tapping into your intuition on a deeper level is because you see and recognize that there are decisions that you're going to have to make, that the world is changing and coming up. So normally this suit, the Pentacles suit in the tarot, usually refers to financial. However, I'm not picking up financial here for most of you, my Cancerian friends. What I'm actually picking up for you is that this cautious but wise action, meticulous attention to detail, this idea that there are changes coming and that you are going to have to somehow prepare, this is a card of preparedness, is with regards to relationships and how you interact with others and how they interact with you. I really sense that this is relationship based more so than financial based for most of you. Let's have a look at your difficult influences. Difficult influences, creativity, Cancer. What this means is that the last half of February is not a particularly good time for you to be pursuing creative endeavors. It's, if you are a writer, it might be a good time to be going into editing, or it might be time for you just to do some simple journaling as opposed to actually doing your writing. If you are a painter, it might be a perfect time to be going out and looking for new ideas while not specifically painting right now. If you are a content creator for the internet, this might be a good time for you to be looking for inspiration, but not actually creating the inspiration these last 2 weeks of February, because creativity is in your difficult influences. It means it's somewhat blocked. It's not flowing as it normally would. That's not to say that it's not going to come back for you. What it is saying is that the timing's just not right now. You've got some other stuff going on, including taking shelter right now. And as well, this recognition from the Prince of Pentacles that now's not the right time to be taking a lot of action either. Being cautious but wise in action is indicating that you need to do your research and make sure that you've got all of your ducks in a row before you actually step into action. What makes sense for you right now is butterfly. Oh my goodness, recognition of the fact that you are taking shelter. These two cards go hand in hand with each other. That, taking shelter is a form of regeneration. It's a form of going within our cocoon. It's a form of going within our homes, going within ourselves, pulling back from daily life and daily interactions so that we have the capacity to be reborn as the beautiful butterfly. So this makes perfect sense. Also, this makes sense with regards to the creativity card coming up in your difficult influences. When we're in a state of regeneration, when we are in this cocoon state, there we go, and we have difficulties focusing. When we are in our cocoon, which is the regeneration state of the butterfly, creativity doesn't flow. It doesn't, it may still innately be there, but it's not flowing externally. It's not being expressed externally. Why? Because when we are in this space, we are actually cocooning ourselves. Okay. So for what's actually coming up for me is that where you're at right now in the middle of February is this state of regeneration, this state of taking shelter, this state of pulling back, learning new things, not making rash decisions. That's what this Prince of Pentacles is about. Your creativity is not flowing freely at this time. I do have a reflection on that, but anyway, your creativity is not flowing freely as it normally would. And so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that what I think is happening for the first week of the second half of February. So from maybe February 14th or 15th through to the 21st or so. Actually, I'm coming up with 23rd. Okay. So from the 14th through to the 21st or the 23rd, Cancer, you're in this state of regeneration. You're in this state of pulling back. Now, I do want to say that what I'm picking up intuitively and psychically is that come the very last week of February, this is going to ease for you, and there's going to be some fresh new energies coming in. Let's look at the rest of the cards and see what's come up. The next cards that I'm going to turn over for you is going to be the unexpected influences. So one of the cards that you have for your unexpected influences is the moon. Now, the moon represents duality. It represents the yin and the yang. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. This card is all about tapping into our intuition and our dreams, but also being able to see things from the bigger picture and see both sides of the moon. So we know that the moon goes full and she shines her light on everything and allows us to see more clearly at night. And then the moon likes to go into her dark phase where there's little to no light, and there's sometimes difficulty to see the other side of the coin or recognize that the moon is going to come back around in her cycle. So I do sense that where you're at right now, Cancer, in the middle of the month of February is not where you're going to be at the end of the month. Where you're at right now, you are in this regenerative stage. You're at this stage of going within. This is confirmed by the moon card. Okay. My cards do have all of the writing on them that, you know, they're kind of cheat cards, but anyway. And the other card that we got is the Nine of Wands. Now, this card is a card showing that there is determination, that there's courage on your part. There is still the necessity to be cautious when this card appears. Okay. Cautious in your decisions, which incidentally was represented by the card here that was your focus. And your focus was indicating, you know, no rash decisions, be cautious when you're taking your actions. And in unexpected influences, again, you are being encouraged to be cautious in the actions that you're taking going forward. Okay. But the moon is telling me that this regenerative cycle where you're currently at, where your creativity is a little bit stunted, where you're perhaps cocooning a little bit, is temporary, right? This card, the moon card, represents phases. It represents going in and out of different phases. So let's see what your outcome is. Oh, are you kidding me? Cancer, do you see what it says on that card? This is the moon card. You just got the moon card twice in your reading from two different decks. This is really, really shocking. But you got the moon in your unexpected influences, and you got the moon in your outcome. So this is an indication that there is a huge, huge, huge shift coming for you. Really big. Okay. It means that the phase that you have been in for the past, I want to say about 6 weeks or so, is ending, and you're going to be moving into something new. But there is another card here for your outcome, and that is this card. Now you will notice on this card that there is a man or a fairy hanging upside down. This card is the equivalent to the Hanged Man in the traditional tarot. And what this card is telling me Cancer, is that the best way for you to have a positive outcome, because you have a double moon here, which means you have double duality. You've got stuff coming at you from two different directions. There is a little bit of difficulty in making decisions because you've got these two moons coming up. There is a positive outcome from the moon. There is this coming out of a phase, but in order to be able to do that, you need to see things from a different perspective. That's what the Hanged Man card is all about. Change the way you're looking at a situation. Okay, that's what it says on the card. And in general, the Hanged Man card is all about looking at things differently. And like I said, with the moon shows us things when she is full. And then when she is in her dark phase, we have a little bit more difficulty seeing and deciphering what may be right in front of us. And if we change our perspective and change the way we view things, then we have the capacity to be able to see both phases of the moon. And we have the ability to discern what's coming at us during both phases of the moon. So Cancer, this is actually really, really exciting that for the first week of the second half of February, like I said, from February 14th to maybe the 21st or 23rd, it is still a time of regeneration for you. It is still a time of withdrawal, going within and really exploring your own intuition and where you're coming from. And then the second half of February, the second half of the last half of February, so basically the last week of February, is going to be this exciting time of shifting out of the phase that you have been in. Yeah, it's all about seeing things from a different perspective. Okay. All right, so I'm going to wrap that up. If you like this, if it resonated with you, please give a like. I would really appreciate it. And I also love comments, and I do respond to all comments that I get. So thank you very much. And we'll see you at the beginning of March for another reading. Okay, let's move on to Scorpio. All of the Scorpios out there. Let me just get my legs crossed. There we go. All right, Scorpios. Let's tap into your energy. We're going to be pulling 6 cards, or maybe more. Everyone seems to be getting more than that. We're going to be looking at your energy now. We're going to be looking at what you're focusing on for the last half of February. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video in the introduction, there is possibility this could turn into a love reading. However, some of the signs have not been love readings. They've been more general in nature, but let's have a look at what's coming up for you for the last half of February, my Scorpio friends. Where are you now? Okay. All right. Where are the Scorpios now? Nope, there it is. Oh, and actually we have more than one card. We've got 2 cards there. So I guess you're not getting a 6-card reading. I guess it'll be bigger than that. All right, let's have a look at what you are currently focusing on, Scorpio. Where are we going? Over to this deck. Whoops, that was a little bit loud. All right. As I mentioned, I am using a different kind of speaker or microphone today, so there may be additional noises that you hear. Scorpio, what is Scorpio focusing on the last half of February 2023, February 14th through the 28th, 15th through the 28th, approximately. There we go. All right. Let's have a look at what your difficult influences are, Scorpio, for the last half of February. Oh, and we have a card that just flew right out. All right. Let's have a look at what else is making sense here. What else is coming in and influencing you what makes sense. Okay, well, that was interesting. And we even got the deck shuffled, and we've got 2 cards that have come out. So let's have a look at your unexpected insights and influences. Unexpected insights and influences. Where are we going? Okay. Unexpected influences and insights for Scorpio, end of February. Okay. It's one of these cards. Which one is actually, there we go. Unexpected influences and insights. Let's have a look at what your outcome is going to be. General overall outcome, Scorpio. It's interesting. Okay, let's go back over here to the fairy deck. Nope, I'm being told to put you guys back and go over to the Osho Zen for your outcome. Oh, and there's one onto the floor. Anything else? So anything else Scorpio needs to know for their outcome end of February? No. All right. Let's pick your card up off the floor. And let's get going, Scorpio. Scorpio, where are you now? Okay, you've got the 2 of Swords as well as the 9 of Cups. Okay. The 2 of Swords is the card of schizophrenia, and the 9 of Cups is the card of laziness. Okay. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail because I don't want anybody here freaking out going, oh my God, schizophrenia. What these 2 cards are telling me is that right now, Scorpios, you are at a point at which you need to make a big decision, a really big decision. And you haven't made that decision yet. And so 2 things are happening in your life. One is you're feeling pulled in 2 different directions. And I don't know whether the camera's going to focus on this or not, but what you'll notice is there is a character on this card up here who is hanging on for dear life. He's hanging on by his toenails and his fingernails. And he has a choice. Either he can let go with his toenails, in which case he's going to be dangling by his fingernails and he's going to be no further ahead. Or he can let go with his fingernails and he's going to be dangling by his toenails and he's going to be no further ahead. So there is only one decision and one way to go for the character on this card. And that is to let go. Let go with both your hands and your feet at the same time and make that decision. Because the problem is that when you are in this state, this indecisive state, which is what this card is about, you go into a place of laziness because there is overwhelm. When you are dangling between 2 precipices, as illustrated in this card, you go into a state of overwhelm. And that puts us in a place of laziness. It puts us in this place of withdrawing from life in general and going, oh, I can't handle this. I don't want to have to make a decision. So I'm just going to withdraw. And I'm just going to sit here and chill. And it's just going to be all good and it'll sort itself out. Unfortunately, for most of us, life doesn't just sort itself out. And eventually we have to get off our butts and we have to actually take action. So let's see which direction the cards are encouraging you and whether by the end of February, you are going to actually be in that place of taking action. But these 2 cards are indicating that here now, as I'm doing this reading in the middle of the month of February, that you are in this place of indecision. Right now, your focus is moss and adaptability. Moss is one of what is believed to be, based on our current science and experience, moss is believed to be one of the oldest plants. It's very adaptable, and it has made it through millions, if not billions of years of evolution, changes upon this planet, changes in climate, changes in, desert versus tropical environments and climates and so on. And so moss is extremely adaptable. And so this is what you, my Scorpio friends, are being encouraged to focus upon for the last half of February, being adaptable. What does being adaptable mean? Well, it also represents being accepting that things are not always going to go our way. Things are not always going to be exactly as we expect them or want them to be. And the faster that we can adapt or change to what's going on around us, the better off we're going to be. Life will become more tolerable and less as if we're hanging off two cliffs the sooner that we become adaptable in our lives. There is some more information coming in intuitively. Let me just tap in for a second here. Okay, what I'm hearing is that this adaptability card really pertains to family life and personal life, personal relationships. This is not so much work and job and career related. This is pertaining to family life. No, I'm not saying that, at least not yet. I've got spirits encouraging me to say something with regards to the Two of Swords here. And with regards to the laziness card. And I am hesitating in saying it, Scorpio. It's not going away. Okay. With regards to these two cards, being where you're at now, okay, and you being encouraged to focus upon adaptability. What's being said that I am being encouraged to repeat to you is, Scorpio, it is time to pee or get off the pot. Okay. In other words, it's time to start to take action. You've had an opportunity to sit back. You've had an opportunity to create yourself in a way that you are more able to adapt to what's happening in your life. But eventually you need to make that decision. Okay. And what Spirit is telling me, without me turning over any more of your cards yet, is it is time. It is time to make decisions and to actually begin to take action. In your difficult influences, you have the shaman. Trust in higher forces. This makes absolute sense with what I have just been saying to you, Scorpio. If you are not trusting in the higher influences, if you are not trusting that something is going to catch you when you let go, if you're not trusting in that. Now, don't get me wrong. This is metaphorical. This is not literal. Do not go jump off a cliff, because trust me, this doesn't work on our planet. There are other laws in place, including gravity. Okay, so you get what I'm saying. This is not, I'm not encouraging you to go jump off a cliff by any means. What I am encouraging you to do is to make decisions and begin to take actions and trust that your own ability to adapt is going to come into play, and that there are higher forces in play that are going to help you and assist you when you finally decide to make a decision and move forward. Scorpio, everything in this reading right now is telling me that you are in a really, really indecisive position. part of your indecision is directly related to you having difficulty right now. This came up in difficult influences. You are having difficulty right now. That's not focusing. There we go. You are having difficulty right now, trusting that there is help out there, whether you choose to call that God, Ra, whatever name you choose to put on the higher power, creator, the universe, etc., etc. There are so many names out there for it. You need to trust that there is a purpose out there for you. I'm telling you, Scorpio, there's a purpose out there. So you have to make decisions. Let's have a look at what makes sense. So you've got the Prince of Winter and the Six of Cups. Prince of Winter is equivalent to the Prince of Swords. This is how do I put this without just reading what's on the card? I can't. What's on this card? The need to act quickly and decisively. That's why this card came up for you. And that's what I was saying before I ever even turned this card over. That's why this card makes sense for you, Scorpio, in this reading right here, right now. The time is now. The end of February, February 14th through the 28th is the time for you to begin to act decisively. The other card that came up in This Makes Sense is the Six of Summer, which is the equivalent to the Six of Cups. And this is the return of people or romances from your past for the purposes of assisting and helping you. It's interesting that you got a card telling you to trust in higher forces, that there is something else out there that's going to help you come along. And then in your This Makes Sense, you got a card that's telling you there are past influences that are going to come along and help you. But you also got a card in This Makes Sense. You need to act quickly and decisively. There are sudden and unexpected changes coming. Okay. Let's have a look at what is unexpected. This isn't exactly unexpected given the direction that the rest of the reading went, but you have the beginning of a new cycle here. First light. Okay. In the reading, this card is in the position of unexpected influences, but is it really that unexpected that with the way that the beginning of this reading went, that you're beginning a new cycle? It's not that unexpected, but when it's time to begin a new cycle, the Prince of Swords comes in. It is time to act decisively. Let's have a look at what the general overall outcome for you is transformation. Okay. This card in the traditional tarot is the number 13, and I don't know if I can get that to come into focus with the camera. Let me hide my face. Anyway, you'll have to just trust me. The bottom of the card says transformation. This number here is the Roman numeral 13. What card is 13 in the traditional tarot? The Death card. This card represents the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. Scorpio, you are at a precipice. You're at a precipice. You're on a precipice right now. There are huge new things, new cycles coming for you. Some of this is going to involve family and friends, but I believe that this is because a lot of you are more open to the global changes, more aware of the global changes that are coming, and thereby you are more prepared for the global changes that are coming. So Scorpios, I'm going to leave it off here. Thank you so much for joining me. I am super excited for all of you getting the transformation card. These cards that came out today spoke really, really loudly. Right now is a time for you to be able to if you haven't already prepared for the coming changes, right now, start preparing, because this is indicating that you don't have a lot of time left to prepare. It is time to make decisions and move forward right now, Scorpio. So thank you so much for being here. If you did like this video, please give me a like. We will see you at the beginning of March for another reading and prediction. Thank you so much. Okay, it is time to move into the Pisces and have a look at your energies and influences for the last half of February 2023 in your honor of your birthdays as well as your birth month. I have a couple of pieces of amethyst that I am keeping handy during your reading, Pisces. Happy birthday to those Pisces that celebrate in February. And let's move into your reading. I will be doing a 6-card reading. However, none of the readings have been 6 cards. I always end up pulling out extra cards. The cards jump out and jump around. So let's get started and let's tap into your energy, Pisces. Where are you at now? Where is your energy at right now, Pisces? So mid-February 2023, Pisces. Where are the Pisces? Nope. That one wasn't right because it wouldn't pop up. There we go. There it is. Are we gonna get it? Not that one. Not that one. Nope, it went back in. Let's try again, Pisces. Okay. So we actually have 3 cards that have popped out for you, Pisces, for where you are at now. Let's have a look at what you are focusing on for the last half of February 2023. I am getting called towards this deck. What are the Pisceans focusing on? I don't know if you can see that card just sticking up there. So just a reminder, I am leaving all of the cards face down until I'm actually ready to read them. All right, let's have a look at your difficult influences. Just trying to decide where we're going for this. I've got a traditional tarot deck here that it's like a cheater deck. It has all of the words and descriptions on it. Not one of my favorite decks to use, but we use it. Difficult influences. Is there anything else for the Pisces? All right, let's have a look at what makes sense for you at this time. Yeah, definitely going to the fairies for that one. Felt that one strongly. We have 1 card on the floor. We've got another card that's flipped over and come out of the deck. Is there anything else that makes sense for Pisces right now? No. Okay. And I have to bend down and get the first card that came out and get them both there. All right. Unexpected insights and influences. Pisces, second half of February 2023. Unexpected influences and insights. Interesting. Might be pulling one more card for you here, Pisces. On top of this one, I'm seeing another card. I'm also getting a card from the bottom of the deck there because it kept poking me. Are we clarifying this card? Yep, we are. We're clarifying it with a fairy. Pisces, clarifying card for unexpected insights. There we go. There's actually more than one card there. Right. Are we using all three? Okay. All right. And your overall outcome, Pisces, for the end of February 2023, overall outcome. Interesting. Right. We'll go back over to this deck. Overall outcome. That card. Is there one more card? Yep, that one. Okay. Pisces, let's get going. Where are you now? Now, I said this was a 6-card reading. I'm pretty sure I've got about 20 cards out here for you. Pisces, where are you now? You are currently shaman, trusting in higher forces, spirit fox, trust your talents in changing times, and the drum, dream and journey. So I will show each of these cards to you individually. This is the shaman card. My camera does not like focusing on the cards. Anyway, the shaman card. Spirit fox, trust your talents in changing times, and the times they are changing. Wow, I've got the Bob Dylan song coming into my head, and the drum, dream and journeying. Okay. What this is telling me, Pisces, is that you are preparing for the upcoming changes. You are understanding that things are not always as they seem. You recognize and understand that you have talents that up until this point in history were talents that were poo-pooed, shunned, shamed. They were kept on the back burner. They were only talked about behind closed doors, these types of things, these types of talents, including intuition and psychic acuity. And what these cards are telling me, Pisces, is that you are beginning to recognize that this stuff is really important and this stuff is real. In order for you to be able to bring forth your inner shaman and your spirit fox so that you can trust these abilities more, you've got the drum here. Okay, this is an indication of one of the avenues for you to use in order to be able to access these talents and skills. Okay, these talents and skills have been quashed and pushed down and put behind closed doors for most of human history. And anybody who talked about or expressed these types of talents in the past were lambasted, crucified, any of these words. That's not the case anymore. These are mainstream. They're going mainstream. And so Pisces, these cards appearing in the "you are here now" is telling me that in the middle of February here in 2023, you're really opening up to this. You're recognizing this and you're embracing it. The drum card coming up is telling me that this is one of your avenues. So whether you have a drum and choose to do some drumming on your own, or whether you want to listen to a YouTube video of someone else drumming, but this is a great way for you to be able to access your talents by listening to that solid, steady beat over and over and over again. It will put you in a trance-like state so that you're better able to access your inner shaman. Okay. Let's have a look at what your focus is. Your focus for the last half of February 2023, Pisces, is fire and intensity. This is a card of action. The same way that the wands suit in the traditional tarot represents fire, the wand suit always represents taking action on those cards. And so the fire card coming up for you as your focus for the last half of February is all about being intense about whatever it is that you do, including your meditative state and your pursuit of the higher forces and these hidden talents that you have. This is interesting. 6 of Wands. Again, we have an action card. Remember, I said Wands represents fire, intensity, being able to move on. But this is in your difficult influences. So this card is saying, this card is about triumph over adversity. Okay, but it's in your difficult influences. So we actually read it as if it is inverse, which means that you're struggling to get past something. There is something in particular, a challenge of some kind that you are bumping into, and you're having difficulty moving forward. I do want to say that that is likely because you are working with these great big energies here. You know, these are huge energies, the shaman and the spirit fox. The fact that both of them came out together for you, Pisces, is an indication that there's big, big, big work being done on your inner spirit, and that will express externally eventually, especially if you get into the drumming aspect of things. But what you're bumping up against is some challenges with regards to, so it's the 6 of Wands here. And like I said, this is a cheater deck, but happens to be what I have at the moment. Yeah, you're bumping up against this. Your wishes and hopes are, it's not that they're being quashed, they're delayed somewhat right now. That's your difficult influence. Is for some of you, you want to grow in leaps and bounds right now, and you've got this intensity going on. So you're ready to grow in leaps and bounds, and yet you keep bumping into this 6 of Wands. Let's have a look at what's making sense for you. Right. So you've got the Ace of Spring, which is the Ace of Wands. Oh, go figure. You've got more wands coming up in your reading. The Ace of Wands is, it's time to take action. Interesting that you've got a card about taking action, right? When you've got fire or intensity right next to it as your focus. Any of the aces in the tarot represents new beginnings. So the Ace of Wands is about new beginnings, but it's new beginnings because you are actively pursuing them. You are taking the action. You also have the 5 of Spring, which is the 5 of Wands. And what this card represents, incidentally, is polar opposites. It's about butting heads with someone. It's about feeling at odds with either yourself or feeling at odds with the energies that are coming in around you. So you do have this huge, huge, huge duality coming up right now. You've got yin and yang energy coming up. You've got this fire and intensity, while at the same time, you've got the drum telling you to meditate and go within and access your higher forces. You've got the 6 of Wands telling you that you're bumping into challenges right now. And then you've got the Ace of Wands telling you, go out and take action, right next to, oh, there's differing opinions and this push and pull. So there's this serious duality going on for you this last half of February 2023, Pisces. And we're going to get into what your unexpected influences are, as well as what the general overall outcome is. But I do want to say that this is a time where, just based on what I'm picking up and what I'm reading for you, there's this sense of sandpaper. And I think, if I remember correctly, for last month, or maybe for the beginning of February, there was this similar sense of a feeling of sandpaper, like you're bumping into something and you feel like you're being pulled in 2 different directions right now, Pisces. Let's have a look at your unexpected influences. Now, incidentally, this is the first card that I pulled for you. And then I could see that there was these sitting on top like this in the spread. So I did pull a couple more cards. So, oh my goodness, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. This is the Five of Spring, also known as the Five of Wands or Five of Fire. You also got the five. I'm hoping that comes into focus for you. You've got the Five of Wands again, or the Five of Fire. This is the card of totality. This is the card of go all in or don't go in at all. This is a card that there are opposing and differing opinions, and basically you need to jump, right? If you look at the picture on the card up here, you've got trapeze artists, and one lets go and they fly through the air, and they have to trust that they're going to be caught and not be allowed to fall. This is a duality in our minds, right? Do we go all in or don't we? Okay, the fact that you've got two Five of Wands here, absolutely astounding, and interesting. The chances of that happening, considering how many decks I use, is very rare. So you've got this totality here. You've got this push and pull. Your brain is saying, don't let go. And your body is saying, let go, let's do the trapeze. Okay. Which one are you going to do? The other cards that you got with that, oh my goodness, is two more spring cards, aka the Wands. Okay. You've got the Two of Wands as well as the Prince of Wands. And you've got the Experience card. The Experience card is the equivalent to the Tower in the traditional tarot. What all of this is telling me, like I said, it's amazing that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wand cards, or 5 cards from the Wands suit. The Wands is fire, which is intensity, and your focus for the last half of February is fire. I mean, I'm practically speechless here, Pisces, with regards to the cards that are coming out. It's interesting as well that you got two Five of Wands, and you've got 5 cards here that all represent the Wands. Okay. The Two of Wands is talking about your future manifested through hard work. As I mentioned before, the Ace of Wands, which you have here in your This Makes Sense, is about taking action, taking those first steps. So by progression, the Two of Wands is also about more manifestation through more hard work, through more action. Okay. You've got the Prince of Spring, or the Prince of Wands, coming up as well. Now, as I mentioned, each suit goes in a progression. So the Ace is always about new things, and then the 2 is about the next step. The 5 is usually about, okay, well, I've taken a few steps and now I'm reaching this decision point. I'm reaching this duality. I'm reaching this, I could go this way or this way. And then you've got the Prince, which means that for the suit of Wands, this is the next progression. Your progression is getting more urgent. It's more about taking action, immediate action. Okay, I don't know whether this is going to focus or not, but this says immediate action right here. Okay. You are self-confident, and there's so much action coming up for the last half of February 2023, Pisces. Now you do have this card, the Tower, that has come up for you as well, with regards to this Five of Wands, and the Prince of Spring and the Two of Spring. And this is about letting go of belief systems that no longer serve us. This is about letting go of the past. This is about a life-changing or life-altering event. Now, this will lead to new opportunities for you, but it is a card of leaving the past behind. Incidentally, if you're going to go all in, if you know that this change is coming about totality, then it stands to reason that there is going to be a tower moment coming up for you, Pisces. Most likely near the end of February, but there's definitely a tower moment coming up. Is that a bad thing based on all of these other wands that are coming up? No, it means that there is this fire and intensity. There is huge changes and shifts happening for you. Which aspect of your life is going to be most, this is general, for some of you, it is going to be relationship related, but in general, there's this huge shift that's happening, Pisces. Let's move into, all right. So the last two cards that you have represent air and water. The dolphin is all about water. You also got air. But the dolphin is about listening. Okay. What these two cards are telling me is air flows, water flows. Okay. We have two other elements, fire and earth. You've got fire represented all the way through your entire reading, Pisces. Fire is all about intensity and taking action and moving forward. But your overall outcome for the end of February, where you're going to be at come February 28th, approximately, remember that timelines are a little bit different when we're dealing with the ethereal, but where you're going to be at is actually here, in this more calming energy. Okay. Air is about going with the flow. Water is about going with the flow. The dolphin is about listening, paying attention to what's going on around you, not just listening to the yada yada lip service that comes out of people's mouths, but digging deeper, trusting in higher forces. You got the drum here. That's about listening too. Going into that meditative state and understanding and recognizing that things are not always as they seem. What comes out of people's mouths isn't always what's actually going on. And so come the end of February, Pisces, really, really begin to tap into your intuition, especially if you're listening to somebody speaking or talking, because chances are you're going to pick up on subtleties and different energies that is not going to be what they're actually talking about. So all of this other action and this intensity, all of these wands that have come up are going to put you in that place that when you actually listen to people speaking by the end of February, when you actually are listening to the chatter, you're going to have much better discernment, because by the end of February as well, you are really, really going to embrace your inner shaman and your inner spirit vox. So Pisces, that's it for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please give me a like and please leave me a couple of comments. I love comments and I do respond to all comments. So I will see you again at the beginning of March. Thank you so much.